Yeah, so welcome. I'm going live down here in Myrtle Beach. I'm going to try and get some people's opinions and see what they say. Let's see if anybody wants to have a civil conversation. Okay. Any comments about what's going on? No? Nothing? Okay, fair enough. They're out here with a lot of signs and stuff. I hear a bunch of people. I'm walking up to it now. Okay. Well, it was raining before. All right, let's see. Here we go.
Go to your country club.
We don't have
Go to your country
golf.
club and swing your golf club. Well, what I would like to see happen, probably can't because of the way our government's set up. I'd like to see Congress get off their sweet keisters and do the right thing. There are too many people in there that are taking the buck, either from the NRA or other people. And until that happens,
APAC and stuff.
Until that happens,
groups.
Until that happens, I don't think we can save ourselves. I think.
Do you think we're too far gone as a country? Or you think
I think there's not enough people awake yet. The awake people are here. The rest of them are home sleeping or doing their lawn or whatever. I'm sure they believe it. I think they're in it for themselves too.
What would you say? Most people here stand for the Constitution here, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
They're not, because the misconception
is
that.
Okay, go ahead.
It is that you guys are like just a bunch of socialists who don't want,
No.
Don't believe in.
Socialism.
Tell me about it.
What's wrong with taking care of your sick?
Right.
What's wrong with taking care of your hungry? Okay. What's wrong with taking care of your homeless? Yeah, are there going to be people who take advantage of that? Sure. Just like these idiots are taking advantage of Trump being in office.
Right.
Okay? So, yes, that's going to happen.
So whenever government makes a program, somebody will take advantage of it.
Well,
would you say that
yes.
or no?
Well,
okay,
if somebody opens a business, somebody's going to take advantage of it. There's bad people in the world.
Power corrupts.
And unfortunately, too many people are listening to them. I'm 83 years old.
Oh, God bless.
I've seen all the stuff that is going away now. I've seen being fought for in my lifetime. And we won. Now, some megalomaniac comes along and incites the hatred in people, and this is where we're at.
You're probably not. They're probably not a big fan of Doge and stuff like this. Probably.
No.
But what do you think about?
Who am I doing this for?
Just a private. I'm just a private,
all right.
independent. I'm not with any group.
Feel free to post any of it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So, would you be for something along the line of like what Bill Clinton did?
Well,
or is that too far?
Okay, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't remember.
Okay, fair enough.
Exactly, and I'm not sure anybody does,
right.
Except a politician.
Right.
And is there room for cutting
reform.
Waste? Absolutely. Is there waste in government programs?
Absolutely.
That's
what I keep hearing.
But you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
That's the rub that I keep hearing is that you guys don't want to cut anything at all, no matter what. And personally,
let me tell you, the Democratic senators and representatives, in their own way, are just as bad as the Republicans.
Fair enough.
They're all bad.
Yeah,
they're all looking out. They're all looking out for themselves, their jobs. They want to get reelected. They don't want to fight the strong guy because, my God, he might say something bad about me, or he might release the truth about me.
Yeah. And let's be fair.
So,
both parties,
I'm mad at everybody.
Both parties do protect their corporate gods. I mean, that's their corporate interests, donors.
Don't get me going on big business.
That is a big problem with both parties.
Big business.
Absolutely.
Big business has been taking this country over for decades.
Let me ask you this: let's say somebody is from, let's say, one of those groups. Would let's take somebody like this, because I feel like you're level-headed. You're somebody who is willing to have.
I'm bald-headed.
So am I. Wouldn't it make sense for people to have conversations with each other?
But you can't.
Right,
you
okay.
can't. Believe me, I have tried.
Because
I have friends. I have neighbors who are on the quote-unquote other side.
Okay.
And once you start bringing up even the basest of facts, the first comment is, "Oh, come on," like that's not true. And then the second thing that happens is their voice level goes way up, and they say, "Well, what about Joe Biden? What about when he did this? What about 10 years ago? What about last?" You can't have a conversation with them. You can't.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
And see, that's the sad part, because not long ago we used to be able to.
Yeah.
Somebody like myself, I come from more of a libertarian perspective. So from my perspective, I want to talk to all sides, and hear people out. And it's sad that, like, I went down. I remember the '07 crash. Yeah. So I went down to like Zuccotti Park when they had like Occupy Wall Street. And, there were a lot of people over there really calling for socialism and all this, because they were mad about the banks. And I was saying, look, the banks are going to take the bailout.
Yeah.
You should be protesting D.C. You should be protesting Congress for giving away the money.
And speaking of that, in Congress, in the same breath, look what's happening now. The banks are doing exactly the same crap they were doing then.
So fiscal responsibility, right? So like when you see Congress about to blow another $5 trillion, where do you stand on stuff like that?
If I'm not mistaken, the reason for that is so that they can shovel more money over to the rich.
Right.
Okay. There's not enough. There's not enough. There's not enough to take here to sate their greediness, and that's what they want to do. They're their own pet little projects, which most of them are not for the general public, and I don't know what else to say.
Not only that, the president has introduced a total cabinet of basically of unqualified, dangerous people from Fox. It's just unbelievable that they are not qualified. If Hegseth was appointed by Biden, he would have been gone that day. The pardoning of the insurrectionists on January 6th is the abomination. We, in the eyes of the world, are looking so weak, so corrupt. I'm embarrassed to say that I'm American. My daughter works in the State Department. She's been there for my daughter. My son-in-law works for the VA. He goes to work every day, wondering. And these are two kids that worked hard. I don't know if they're going to have a job tomorrow.
Right.
And they both work for the betterment of the people that they serve, the veterans. My daughter in the State Department had to hide all her work that she did that had anything to do with DEI. She had to archive everything because, number one, she'd be fired. Right now, even though he has left, Musk has left, her department is still embedded with these kids. These kids who have no experience whatsoever. Orders on the criminal of Musk cutting U.S. aid program that comes from the State Department, that it's a known fact that people are dying every day.
They've already killed thousands.
They don't care. Kids are starving.
So I take it we're old school, where we believe that Congress is where the purse lies for cutting stuff.
Every congressman that supports Trump's agenda is afraid of their job. Just like my daughter and my son-in-law are afraid of their job. But they do good for the people. They do good, and they've already made plans, contingency plans that, they have to go to the private sector, but they love their work. When they were ordered to go in, they live outside, they live in Fairfax, Virginia.
Oh yeah, I know Fairfax.
Okay,
yeah.
And the day they were ordered to come back into work, there was so much disarray because everything was working efficiently. Everything was working fine. When they were all brought in, everybody didn't know what to do. It was like they were on top of everything with the presence of the Musk generals, lieutenants.
Sorry, I apologize.
Jeremy Lewin, who's a 28-year-old Dartmouth, graduate, no political experience, is the one that cut all those programs to starve those kids. He should be arrested. This whole cabinet.
It's not necessarily whether or not you have political experience, although the more political experience you have, the more likely you are to do things wrong.
But they don't even
But
have organization.
they don't have.
They have no
They got
experience
nothing
of
up here.
running anything.
They got nothing up here. They've been giving everything all their
The
life.
new secretary of counterterrorism. Have you seen that? He's 18 years old. He was mowing lawns last year.
Has done.
From a libertarian perspective, you know, we don't like all the corporate welfare that takes place. And then what happens is you get companies like Tesla, Walmart, etc., who take the welfare and then fire people right after they get the welfare.
Yeah.
Like, and Walmart has a trick that they do where they just had a store close in North Carolina, and what they'll say is, look, we're opening up a store in California. If you can make it, you have a job.
Yeah.
But if you can't make it, you don't have a job. And then it doesn't show up.
Right.
As they fired people, they just say, well, they couldn't make it.
Yeah, they couldn't.
And so there's stuff like that goes on. And,
Yeah.
you know, so, you know, we might not agree on everything, but, you know, my thing is to at least have some dialogue together and to get a perspective, you know, that maybe everybody doesn't.
Dialogue would be wonderful if it's accomplishable, and I don't think it is because you can't talk to these people.
So I think the Democratic Party, number one, is still searching for someone to has the courage, I think the youth, and the strength to heal the party within itself. And that's the only way the party is going to come. And they really have to connect. The college response to this, to Trump and the support was astounding to me. I thought that most college campuses were progressive and were, you know,
19-year-old kids.
they
Narrow-minded.
Yeah, and,
Narrow-minded.
you know,
Because a
we
lot
could have
was
a whole
a
thing about voting.
A lot of
at
it was a
18.
frustration because of the American dream that they weren't getting, you know.
But let me ask you this. Because, you know, some would say, and again, I have a lot of Democrat friends, you know, who were Bernie Sanders supporters and did not like how the Democratic Party, because, you know, you're saying, hey, we want the young vote. And Bernie had the young vote. There's no doubt about it in 16. And what the Democratic Party did was, you know, they really stifled him. The party bosses got in there with the Hillary machine. And, you know, those voters, a lot of them did stay on the sideline because of that. And that hurt the party. Now you have this election, you know, Biden, I believe Biden thought he could win. I believe that. But, you know, obviously he was sick or something was going on there. And then they tried to put in Kamala right at the end, too, very late into the party.
Yeah,
So,
it was
like,
a disaster.
Didn't the party kind of twice
It
now?
self-imploded. It self-imploded, and but I still feel that.
Like, I have people that want to feel the burn, but, you know, they're afraid that
The Democratic
party's
Party has been and continues to be totally ineffectual. They, to me,
That's what I hear.
they have no idea what the people really want. Hopefully, a lot of the people do, but they're still so concerned about self-preservation and keeping their
Trying to protect their
and
jobs.
keeping their spot,
Right.
and
Well,
everything
that's part
like
of the,
that.
I think that's part of the, the problem.
So, you know, that's why I said before,
Right.
Congress is the only people that can stop what's going on right now, but they're not going to do it. Both sides of the aisle.
Well, don't you feel like
And
also
the
with
Democrats have no idea what to do.
Well, like we were just talking about the massive tax cuts that are about to come
I'm
in,
sorry.
and that you know, some of the Democrats give, oh yeah, we're against it, but they give a wink. You know, like they say, oh, we're not for, but then you really see them really fighting the way that they should against it. Don't you feel like a part of them that are in there are for them, but they can't say it? Because they have their corporate masters.
Yeah, but I've posted many posts to the effect that there are no real heroes on the right side.
Okay.
The biggest heroes could be 3 or 4 or 5 Republican legislators,
Thomas Massey.
legislators
That's-
who
He was great.
who stand up, who say, "No, I'm not
That's
going.
the kind of-
I'm not.
I
gonna, wait for the right moment, like voting for this friggin' bill."
I'll be honest,
That's going to kill
I
us.
support Thomas Massey. I'll be honest about that. I mean, I think Thomas Massey has the courage, you know, within his own party. And you look at Trump.
My
Trump-
point
Trump
is, I've
before
said
they went
you
after
guys
him.
could be bigger heroes than any Revolutionary War hero because you could save this democracy. This democracy is going down the tubes. So get ready for fascism. You see it every single
already
day.
happened.
It is. It's happening.
It's the playbook. That's what is so.
Look at the Marines in California.
That is so scary. That is a scary thing because
Number one rule, you do not deploy regular troops in the United States.
it's so. He's not afraid of the courts because he knows it goes to the Supreme Court and he's got the Supreme Court in his pocket.
Yeah,
It's a
the
joke.
Democrats
Once we
let
lost,
that happen.
once-
The
once-
Democrats let that happen.
it's already happening. I think people really have to wake up that it is here now.
Let me ask you this: do you feel that the Constitution is going to be strong enough?
I don't
It's
know.
the people. It's up to the people. The Constitution's a piece of paper. It says a lot, but there's got to be people to back it up. And
What bothers me about the-
Tuesday's judgment of what the judge says on Tuesday regarding the guards' presence in California is going to be a huge decision. If the judge allows it, then people don't need any more proof that we are done as we are done.
If that had been approved already, we'd probably have troops right here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all across the country,
that's how
wherever
the
there was
California
a
protest started with about this many people the first day,
Right.
and then it
You
blossomed.
feel like it blossomed because of
Absolutely.
all the rhetoric and stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely, without a doubt, without a doubt. There was even the chief of police of LA said we didn't ask for his help. We don't want his help. We can handle this. This is totally to go over the governor and say we're sending him in. It's preposterous. The last time that happened, a governor sent someone in was against the governor's approval was for civil rights in the 60s to protect Martin Luther King and the peaceful protesters. That's when the last time it was done. Now it's done to attack the protesters, to accuse them that they're violent, that they're burning the city down. This is preposterous.
And of course, you'd be against somebody committing violence.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Let me
But
put
that's another thing.
Let me
too.
put it this way.
You know, I was
I'm
told
against.
I'm gonna
I'm
have rocks
against.
thrown at me, and that's what I was told.
I'm against violence,
Okay.
but I'm going to defend
There you
myself.
go. Yeah, absolutely.
That was the whole goal and basis for the call for today's protest by this group that organized between 5051 and No Kings organization. That was the goal.
So the goal of this movement is what?
violence.
If you had to put it in a sentence or two sentences, what would you say this movement is really about, in your eyes?
To bring out people that were afraid to speak before because they felt outnumbered, especially here in the South, in South Carolina, that the MAGA people were going to come and I can't put like a Biden or a Harris sticker on my car fearing that it's going to be destroyed.
Oh, wow.
You know?
The only good thing that's been happening.
If you put a Biden or Harris sticker, your car
Well,
possibly vandalized?
oh, yeah, probably.
Good. What brings you down here?
Oh, I just wanted to check out the protest and see if everybody's peaceful and
Yeah, that's why
so everybody seems to be having a good
I wanted to talk to
laughing
people.
and joking and talking to
I
people.
gotta go now.
Hey, I appreciate you. What was your name?
Tom.
Tom. I appreciate
And,
you. I'm Bobby. Good talking to you.
And believe me,
Have you given the Libertarian a look?
that's too far to go.
Which way?
Too far to the left.
Too far to the left.
Yeah. All right.
I never heard that before. Because you know what? A Republican will tell me, "Oh, you're too far to the right."
Yeah, right.
Hey, I really appreciate you taking the time
Hey, no
and
problem.
having that conversation because, the perception was just, you're never going to talk to anybody. They're not, what you hear in the media and all that.
I think what you're going to find is a lot of people like us who are older that experienced what it really was like to essentially end the Vietnam War without a lot of courage. And that's why, to me, it was so alarming to hear that the Guard was coming into the protest, because I remember vividly Kent State and when the 4 students were murdered. And those Guardsmen, they didn't want to be there. You know, they didn't want to do that, you know, and it was totally unnecessary. That really changed the tide of the war. That I lost family members in Vietnam War.
Right.
I was in next to the last draft.
Oh, okay, right.
It was the only lottery I won. I drew 354.
Oh, wow.
I had a 365.
Okay.
They had 2 barrels.
Right.
Birth dates.
Right, right.
And years. And so I had friends that had to leave school. They gone.
Right.
You know, they drew one friend drew number 2. Any number between 1 and 15, you had to go report immediately, and up to 35, you had to get a physical.
Right.
Because they were running out of bodies, and by that time,
it became a numbers game to the government.
We had guys coming back. These guys, some guys, and that was the first year that if you're a student, you couldn't get into deferment.
Right.
The farm deferments were gone, everything, because they ran out of bodies. And all the guys coming back that were on the GI Bill getting their education were telling us, whatever you got to do, don't go, because it's a nightmare, it's a mess.
Yeah.
And everybody knew that. We knew that. You know, my hometown, we lost 3 guys. I grew up in a little town on the east end of Long Island. 600 Watermill.
Oh yeah, I know where that is.
Like 600 people back then, 700 people.
Good
we
friend
lost
of mine
3 guys.
got married over there.
Is that right?
At the Watermill.
Okay. Three guys that were killed the first 2 years of the war. I have a cousin, Pete Grubb, who was an Air Force pilot. He was the first pilot shot down, never found.
Yeah.
Devastated the family. So we were so against the war from early on. I mean, it was just, this is insane.
So where do you stand now with what you see with what Israel's doing with Iran, and you know, we might get pulled in to another Middle East war. What do you have? Let's see.
That was my last son.
Okay.
That was shortly after the debacle of Zelensky's meeting in the White House with Trump. It was shameful. And this whole thing that he's a buddy with, and he probably is. I think Putin has something on him, and a lot of people do. You know, all his business dealings with Russia. We're in trouble. The world's in trouble.
How about the $400 million jet?
Well, that whole trip was and Netanyahu was pissed. I mean, come on, he didn't even stop to see a stop in Israel for some latkes.
Oh, that's a good point.
Nothing.
Right.
Qatar, Saudi Arabia is his leader is a murderer. The money that the Trump family's been making, just out.
The meme coins and all that
I guess the time is done.
That's it? Is this it?
I think they're 3 o'clock.
Really?
3 o'clock is the end of it, but people might stick around. We're not sure.
Well, I appreciate you.
Hey, no
I
problem.
appreciate you. You know, you've.
I think, like I said,
I think you proved a lot of people wrong. I think you're probably surprised. You and the other gentleman probably surprised a lot of people, because I was told, hey, you know, you're going into the belly of the beast, man. You know, we're helping it.
And watching the coverage, like I said, of the protests around the nation, a lot of first-time people, older people that maybe like myself, that I had a band. We played at one Vietnam War moratorium at South End College.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, so that's how far go. You know, but there was a purpose, but for years, a lot of us and people like me were staying by the side, and I think now the fear of saying, "Oh my God, what's happening?" You know, the people really have to wake up that our nation and the world is in true trouble, and with the 2 shootings in Minnesota, I think it just shows that this country is in dire straits.
Well, peace.
It's just we have to pray at this point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's
and you know, and I think you know, the more hopefully dialogue we can get, the more peace we can get, the more information we can get, education. You know, And you know, and to be honest with you, I believe most people, probably agree. If you're talking just basic politics, not anything hardcore, but just kind of basic, probably agree 75% of the stuff, and maybe 25% is just, you know, become one-issue voters.
The world needs truth and love right now. That's it. That's all.
Amen.
That's it.
I agree with that. God bless, brother.
LB.
Hey, I wish you a lot of luck. Thank you. What brings you guys down here? You guys just
Democracy.
democracy. How do you feel about, like, do you think the Democrats are truly representing your position, or do you think they could do better?
They could do way better. Way better.
What would you like to see them do?
Win for one. With Citizens United,
Yeah.
never should have been passed. They should do away with Citizens United.
Yeah.
Take money out of politics.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Where
the whole
somebody
problem.
can
Money's
take
the root of all evil.
$300 million and buy a candidate,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that stuff has to stop. Or where you have like APAC going in, or all these other corporations, or PACs going in and buying politicians who then don't represent us.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so that's what I was told. I was told that, you know, you guys don't want to talk, you guys just want to yell at people, you guys don't believe in the Constitution, and that's not what I've heard so far. So far I've been hearing, no, you guys do believe in it.
We're the ones that believe in it. It's the other side that forgets it was even written. So, you know, we want to hold true to the Constitution.
So you're not a fan of Doge and all that? Oh,
Right.
Let me see, what do we have? You have it on your side. Okay, fair enough.
This is from the last rally.
So let me ask you this. So, like, okay, so you remember Bill Clinton. So Bill Clinton came in office. He used Congress. He got both party support to cut some government. Would you be for that?
Yeah.
Fair
No
enough.
different than Ted Kennedy was.
I mean, cuts don't need to be made with a chainsaw. They need to be made with a surgical knife. What's going on? All these people in the federal government that they've gotten rid of, the CDC, all the people that they let go. I mean, it's going to destroy the country unless something happens and the people all get brought back, because cancer research, any kind of science, I mean, they're rewriting the book, leaving out pages, you know, rewriting history. It's got to be stopped. I don't know what the answer is to it, but it's like the representatives we have just aren't fighting hard enough.
What do you think about somebody like a Bernie Sanders?
I love Bernie.
Do you?
Oh, I love Bernie.
Are you afraid that the party might again?
Oh no. I
Because
don't
last
think
time they you know, the corporate masters in that party came together and they stopped
Yeah.
them.
He could have beat Trump. He could
believe
have
he
beat.
could have beat him?
I totally believe that. I mean, we had friends that were big Trump supporters, and they were from the city.
Okay.
And we had them down in South Carolina. You can vote in any primary, depending, you know, it doesn't matter what your affiliation is.
Right.
And we had this one couple vote for Bernie in the primary, you know, so to me...
And Bernie had the young vote.
Yeah.
The vote that you needed.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
And that was surprising to me. Let me ask you this. How do you feel with, you know, Biden trying to run again and then throwing
I think he
Kamala
was too old. I think there should be an age limit, and honestly, Trump is too
and for
old.
Congress too?
Oh, yeah.
For
They're
everything,
like dying in their
term
seat.
limits
They're
and
dying in their
age limit.
seat.
Age limits, term limits, it's ridiculous. We have too many old white men running the show. We need some young blood, all different colors. You know, it's these old white men that are going to be the end of us. And I'm old. And he's old.
And he's
Older.
white.
And I like
And he's
him.
a bear. Right?
And I like him. But, you know,
But I like him. That's
running
pretty
the
good.
government, we just had enough of it, except for Bernie. Bernie can do what he wants.
And what do you think about, okay, so then now you see AOC going around with him and stuff. What do you think about her?
I love
She's
AOC.
big on social media.
Yeah, I love AOC. You know, that's what we need, are more young, progressive people that are going to actually change things, you know. The government's been in the hands of these old white men for way too long. Let's get some young, different colored blood in there, you know. So
Yeah.
we're all for the youth of our country.
Yeah. Well, look, I try to give everybody a voice and hear from all perspectives. And, you know, look, as long as people are willing to talk, I think people should hear other people out. You don't have to agree on everything, but we should at least be civil.
Yeah.
You know, do you remember Occupy Wall Street and all that?
Yeah.
Like, I went down there as, you know, somebody who was trying to tell those kids back then, and I was saying, hey, look, you know, because they were mad as hell that, you know, we were bailing out the banks and Wall Street and all of that, and I agreed with them. But I said, you know, you should have been protesting D.C. for giving the money.
Yeah.
Should have protested both parties for giving that money, because that's what keeps it going.
Yeah.
The more both parties are, because think about it, what do you think both parties are going to do when we have another crash? Are they going to allow the banks to fail, or are they going to bail them out again? Are they going to bail out Wall Street and their corporate masters? You know, and I think that's where, you know, libertarians, some conservatives even, and Democrats could come together and actually say, no, don't bail these people out. Look, you gambled, you lose. You know, and if it works good for me and you know, why shouldn't that work for us too? You know, for them too. You know,
none of the bankers went to jail, did they?
No, I know.
Nobody was held responsible.
Yeah, and so I tried to, you know, I was down there in Zuccotti Park, downtown Manhattan, trying to talk to them. So I've seen both sides of this coin, and I did not feel, I'm sorry, look, they gambled, they should have lost, and yeah, people are, this is the sad part, innocent people are going to lose, but you're festering bad behavior when you keep doing this sort of thing. And then what did they do? They bailed out the banks, but they still threw the people out of the street.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, you're right. They didn't. The people didn't get bailed out that time.
Yeah.
You know, so I appreciate you guys get to wherever you're going safely.
Yep. So where can I see this? Where can I see
Brew Media on YouTube. I'm on X and stuff.
What media?
Brew Media.
Brew.
Basically sweeping away the you know, legacy medias, Fox, all of them. I think all of them collecting, again, it all goes back to, again, I'm giving my libertarian perspective, but it crosses over where, you know, the corporate interests own those stations. I mean, let's be honest.
They own CNN and MSNBC.
You're going to get only a part of the information if you only watch one station.
Yeah.
And you know what's really surprising to me? Well, it's not surprising, but you could have two people in two houses next to each other. One watches Newsmax or Fox. The other one watches MSNBC and CNN. They're living completely separate lives. Their worldview is completely different. And what I'm trying to do is kind of merge those people together and kind of, you know, like, hey, you know, this is what these people are saying. You know,
show them a middle ground.
Yeah, give them a perspective. Say, hey, you know, these people are not what you think that they are necessarily, and let's have a conversation rather than just talking at people.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's where that's my purpose of this channel. Is to do that. And
good luck with it.
I appreciate you. So, anyway,
good talking
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hey, how you doing? Can I get your like, why you down here?
I'm down here because none of this is normal. This is not how it's supposed to be. The only power that we've been shown to us in the last 6 months of anybody fighting for us is us. I mean, no, we're not counting on anybody to come save us. So here we are, saving our damn selves. And if it works, then that's what it's all about.
What would you like to see change?
I would like to see every fascist,
first and
foremost, get rid of everybody who doesn't actually truly believe in the Constitution out of our government.
Okay, amen. I like that.
You know, that's what...
I'm a libertarian.
Well, we have to follow by the rules we followed for 250 years. That's what all I'm asking. This is not that. This is fucking fascism. This is a dictatorship.
Have you ever looked at the libertarian platform? Because we're actually as close to the Constitution as you can get.
I have looked at. I'm against him.
Just give it a look.
I'll tell you what. I'll look into
Fair
it,
enough.
but I cannot comment on anything further than that.
Yeah, especially
Deal?
if you don't know.
I don't know exactly.
But listen, I appreciate you taking a moment to speak to me because I was told, oh, you're going to go down there, people are going to throw rocks at you and all this. And,
No.
you guys are going to burn cars and whatever. And I says, I'm going to take a shot because, you know what? When I talk to people, I tend to, I haven't seen that. People have been pretty good to me, so.
As long as we're peaceful, that's what we're here for, and that goes for every side.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to talk to anybody's
support the
civility.
Constitution.
That's all I want.
You said, yeah.
That's all I want. Like, we all followed these rules for longer than I've been alive, and they've worked for us, so far to the best of their ability. And we constantly make them better. We can't innovate unless we have something to innovate. That's all I'm asking. We all have a voice here, and we should express it. But this whole trampling upon the Constitution, it ain't it. That ain't it, and that's not what we're here for. We'll figure out the details later, but we got to get the fascists out. They don't want what we want. They don't.
Let me ask you this, because part of fascism is government in with corporations, right?
Yes, but focus on the one.
That's a part of it,
right?
And so, I was asking, other protesters, peaceful protesters that were here, I said, how do you feel that, basically both parties, they put their corporate interests first, their donors,
sure,
the donor class, the military-industrial complex, right?
Sure.
So, shouldn't we have clean house on both sides?
We should. We should absolutely have clean house. All the law applies to everybody. That doesn't matter what party you're in.
That's right.
It applies to everybody. And if you can be there and be truthful that you're a servant of the people and you're there to represent us, then that's what we want. That's what we're crying out for. That's what we so desperately need, instead of people who put themselves and their career above every else's interest.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what party you're a part of.
I appreciate that. I appreciate what you're saying. And my whole purpose is to get out and talk to people. Because like I was saying earlier, you can have two houses next to each other. One house watches Newsmax and Fox News. The other house watches MSNBC and CNN. And both are only getting half truths.
That's true.
Right?
That's why
and everybody gets stuck in their echo
chamber. No matter
chamber.
what it was. MSNBC, CNN, fuck them. They're under the same roof as Fox and Newsmax.
Right.
They're all the fucking same.
Right.
The only way you can get any news these days is you got to go on the internet to the people who are giving out the truth, because they have no other vested interest than nobody else is doing it. And that's fucked up. Like you, sir. I'm sure you felt the need that need to be filled, right?
Yeah, look.
You were like, nobody's talking about shit. Here you are with your microphone and you're going out.
Look,
like,
I'm an independent guy.
Right?
I have been disappointed by both parties my entire life.
Absolutely.
And so, look, you don't get $36 trillion in debt, $200 trillion in unfunded liabilities, endless wars, endless dysfunction and chaos in this country overnight.
No.
I've watched this country
for
50 years going in a bad direction. And so, I think it's important. That was my goal, is to have people give their opinion and show that people aren't that different, and that people do want to have their voice heard. They want the Constitution. They just want the law followed. They don't want to be stolen. They don't want their stuff stolen from government.
Absolutely not.
Right?
I mean, we're not going to agree on the same shit, and that is
That's
okay.
right.
That's what makes us fucking awesome.
That's right.
Because we're a diverse people with diverse opinions. As long as we agree that we are a social construct.
We can agree to disagree.
Exactly.
Peacefully.
A social construct to be civil to each other.
Amen.
Like, no matter what politics are, we go to work, and you're going to come into my work, and I'm going to treat you with customer service and decency and respect. Take that and put it into society. It doesn't matter what you believe, as long as you're contributing to everybody being peaceful and thriving under the Constitution.
Love it. That's great.
I gotta go.
What was your name?
Soup.
I'm Bobby. I appreciate you. Good luck, brother.
You bet.
You got it. Well, so far, everybody's been pretty peaceful. We don't agree on everything, but nobody's nobody's thrown any rocks at me or burnt a car or. This is South Carolina. But who knows? Let's, the day is still young. Anything can happen. Stay tuned. Okay, here comes some stuff. Let's see. Hi, how you doing?
Good. How about you?
Look.
He loves everybody. He loves all. He also warned us. He warned us. Instigator.
Let's see.
I do not support a
Donald
racist.
Trump is a racist. Donald Trump is a racist. You don't have a daughter. No, it's
God taught us
defendant. Jesus would have left
God taught us to love everybody.
daughter.
And the defamation in the language is uncalled for.
God taught us to love everyone.
We need to fear the Lord the God with the way the world is. We need to live by God.
Your boy that's locked up that's getting sent to fucking
That's the only way this
How? How does that make sense? How does it make sense that a man that's 4 months to live is getting deported? How does that make sense to you?
He's an agitator. Don't give him any
No, you
attention.
can't even
Does
think
God
of
have a
anything.
plan? Does God have a plan?
Yes, to get rid of all y'all.
We are to trust in God's plan.
He's an agitator. Don't give him any attention.
I'm not giving no.
You are an agitator.
What Bible did you
are.
King James.
You are an
You might want to read
agitator.
it again because I don't think you understood the message.
I did understand.
I don't think so, honey.
He's an agitator.
Immigrants are
Don't give
loved
him any
by
attention.
Jesus. Okay, pardon me? The message is Jesus loves everybody and unconditionally, and everybody's
I never
welcome.
said Jesus doesn't love you. You're saying he doesn't love people. If you think that anything that Trump is doing, then you support him.
Okay.
You support Trump, right?
Can you?
I support the plan of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That's who's
Trump. What about
trust.
Trump?
Trump's not going to change the world. Biden's not going to change the world. You are not going to change the world.
So you're not with either party.
I'm with God. I stand with God.
Okay, so he's
And that's all I'm saying.
Stand with Trumpers. If you stand with Trumpers,
You are an agitator.
Holocaust happened because that was part of God's plan. So you're okay with that?
Say that again.
You're okay with that?
You are an
If you trust in God's plan by himself, if you trust in his plan, the way that he made things, then you trusted in the Holocaust. He made that happen.
He did not make that happen.
You are an agitator. Please leave.
God-
allowed it to happen.
Please leave. Please leave. Please leave. Please leave.
God gave
Please
you
leave.
freedom, correct?
Please leave.
God came to
Please
save
leave.
everybody.
Please leave.
But you have
Please leave. Please leave.
Everybody.
Please leave. Please
That's all I'm
leave. Please leave.
May God bless all y'all.
Hebrews 13.
Do you think you can have a
strangers for their lives, angels unawares.
Would you be willing to have a dialogue with him without like yelling?
Actually,
I have shown nothing but love and kindness of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
I wouldn't. Unfortunately, I don't tolerate ignorance. I wouldn't be able to stop. Period.
Try to start anything, but I just want us to all unite under Jesus Christ, because He is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. May God bless all y'all always.
Having a civil conversation
Yeah, see,
does nothing.
That was my point to come down here, was to just have a simple conversation, you know, where maybe we don't agree on everything, but at least we
No,
can...
we can't not agree on human rights. We can't not agree on human rights. Everybody's rights. People's right to live within the country. Borders were created by man. Love was created by God. If that's what you believe, then you're on the right side.
I didn't... Oh, okay,
No.
I didn't give a side. So I, you know, which... So far, everybody has been very peaceful, very nice. You know,
Yeah.
was willing to have a conversation until just right now. And I just, you know, I came in at the end.
Yeah.
What upset you the most about what he said? Because I came in at the end.
To be honest, what upset me the most is that he's standing on that side. He didn't have to say a single word. As soon as he's standing with the hate, I don't care what he has to say. Like, I don't care if Trumpers are sorry that they voted for all this hate, and now they're like, buyer's remorse. I don't care. Like, they can all go suck a dick. I don't care. They're trying to deport millions of people that are working, that are the backbone of this country. Like it says, America's ghostwriters. That is what immigrants are. They don't get the respect that they deserve. My family are all immigrants, so I'll never stand with anybody who stands with Trumpers.
See, now, I was told when I came down here that, because just to let you know, I'm a libertarian, so, I didn't vote for either party. If you go into this protest, you guys are going to throw rocks at me and burn cars. And so far, everybody's been pretty peaceful, other than this little thing that just happened.
Yeah.
But, do you think that there is, so clearly she doesn't want to have a conversation with
if they would actually listen, yeah, but every Trumper I've come across always defends everything they say. So they have a defense for everything they say. They hate, but it's okay because we think this thing. So I don't care to even have a conversation with them.
Let me say something. I cannot have a civil conversation with someone who says that Hitler could be saved. He said that to my face.
I didn't hear that.
I have never come in
fair
contact with somebody who said that Hitler could be saved in my life.
I can't explain why people say the things that they do, and I don't defend everything that everybody says. I just get it on film and give people a voice. That's all.
No, that's good. That's good. They should have a voice because the things that they say shock everybody.
Exactly. Well, let me ask you this, because again, I'm not part of either side party, but
neither am I.
Don't. So are you for censorship?
I'm for the people. I don't believe that the
enough.
government
because
should.
If you think if somebody has a bad idea, that bad idea would be drowned out.
Exactly. We have a lot of Republicans that have said that they regret voting for Trump.
Right.
So it's not about size.
Okay, fair enough.
It's about the fact that he's trying to act like a king. Sure. He's trying to act. He spent $90 million on his birthday party. What kind of president does that?
Hey, from a libertarian side, I don't like that.
No.
The amount that he's spending on deporting good citizens, good people of this citizens, U.S. citizens have been detained by ICE. That's insane. That's even insane that it's coming out of my mouth.
Because the whole beat about this protest is, you guys don't support the Constitution.
They don't. They don't.
But you guys do.
Yes. Of course.
Okay,
that's why we're fighting for them not to send military.
It's not a perfect constitution, but we still defend it as it was.
Like freedom of speech,
It's a very broken system, but that's their system. They believe
due process, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Most of the Constitution that was created
fixed,
was not created for everybody. Not everybody has had access.
But they can't even uphold the Constitution that was written for them. It's majority for white males, and they can't uphold it.
Let me ask you this. There was a white male who was drummed out. Well, I shouldn't say it that way. They could have won in 15, but the Democrat Party sidelined him, and that was called Bernie Sanders.
Yeah. We regret. Okay. Everybody regrets Bernie Sanders. Let's just admit it. He would have been amazing.
I don't. I was there for him. Yeah. I went to one of his rallies.
I wasn't old enough.
I was not part. Yeah. I'm not part of the Democrat Party. I'm not part of the Republican Party.
Yes.
I'm here for people who believe in humanity.
Okay, fair enough. So
I'm a socialist.
So let me ask you this. So when you look at the Democrat Party as they stand, and right now, they're passing like a $5 trillion behemoth bill, right? And the Democrats are sort of giving a wink and a nod behind closed doors, but they're not really fighting to stop this thing.
I've seen that.
About the party,
it's ridiculous.
And
it's ridiculous. I think that both sides are spending way too much money on things that do not matter. We need to focus on the people that are dying.
By their corporate masters, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And everybody is a slave to money. Everybody's a slave to money.
Government.
All of these other governments in other countries that have no money.
I'm a humanist. I only care about people.
Yeah.
And people who care about people.
Yeah, the libertarian philosophy is just get government out of my life. My body's my body. My job is my job.
I don't care much about if the government's in my life or not, as long as they play by the same playbook that they want us to play by.
No. You don't want them ruling over your life, though, and telling you every facet of it. Right.
I don't want to live in North Korea, but it looks like we're heading that way. So.
Right, which is big government. Right. You don't want big government. You want sensible government. Government that represents you.
As small as it is, however small it may be. Even local.
I used to say so small you could barely see it. And let's be honest, these politicians on both sides, they go on TV.
Yeah.
And all they do is just represent their donors, their corporate interests. And to be honest, the country is so messed up. I can't believe they have so much something to be on TV.
Yeah. We need people to guide us, so we do need a government. But it can't be one that spends our money on
is supposed to be
birthday
protecting
parties.
your rights, not stealing them.
Exactly.
That's the Libertarian.
Yeah.
So go check out the Libertarian Party. You would like the Libertarian Party. So what exactly are they? So that's the other side. Is that what I think? So what are they representing exactly? Because I don't know.
Because I don't know other than Trump and hate. That's it.
Okay.
I don't know either. They've defaced the flag. They're holding it upside down. They came over to us to tell us that ours was upside down. One of theirs is upside down. It's blacked out. They don't know what they're doing. And
I'm big on flag laws, and it's supposed to, you're supposed to have the flag upside down when the country's in distress. That's the
I was discharged from basic.
Okay.
I was almost in the military.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Army. I was going into the reserves. That man over there is wearing a fake ACU.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait.
He's got civilian clothing.
Wait. No way. Wait, I can't see him. He's behind the car. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a good point. I didn't see that. Okay, fair enough.
His salute was wrong. His marching was wrong.
He's bogus.
Yes.
He's bogus.
He's wearing a costume right now.
They're
That's
always,
making fun of our country.
I guess you could have imposters come in and, represent something that's not true. But
he's holding the flag between his crotch. They say they stand for America, but then they hold the flag right between their legs and try to jerk off to it.
See, now, I feel like there's a lot of people that would be really shocked by what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
Because, the whole thing was, I said, look, I'm going to go down there. I want to talk to people and get their perspective. And they're like, oh, they're not going to talk to you. They're going to yell at you. They're going to throw stuff at you. And I says, really? I said, well, let me take a chance. I've never had that happen to me before. And I wouldn't do anything, I think,
I will explain.
Please.
When that man was over here, I was yelling because I don't tolerate Nazis.
Okay, fair enough. Look, I really would love to hammer down both sides being able to talk.
Like that. They'll never get it. They don't want to sit down and talk. They want to come and lecture.
But I'll be honest, I don't want to sit down and talk
Yeah,
either.
you have that right. You have that right.
Because of the fact
you don't
that
have
they're
to.
supporting something that doesn't allow humans to live. Yeah, there's no reason to talk. They won't listen. They have proved it time and time again. I would never heckle the reporters, the people that are bringing the story out from both sides, because I think both sides should speak. But
That was the whole purpose of my little media channel.
What they say shocks me.
That's
and
why it's
really
called Brew
disgusting.
Media.
Brew Media?
Brew Media, like a brew.
Oh, Brew Media.
Brew. Like a brew.
Okay.
And the whole point is, like, if you look at my little logo, it's basically Fox, CNN, MSNBC being swept into the trash can.
Yeah, they're all biased.
Because
they're all biased.
you're
I don't
always
watch
hearing
CNN
their
or Fox.
corporate, their corporate
Yeah, they are.
talking point.
I don't watch either because they both twist the story so much. Like, very extremist liberals, they will twist the story on you to make it look like their side is right. Very extremist conservatives will twist the story and make it look like what they're saying is right. I don't watch either. I think that the way that we get educated is by physically going to what's happening and seeing what's going on.
Oh, absolutely. You got to be on the ground. Let me ask you this. Like, okay, so obviously we're not fans of Dove, right?
No.
Okay, but
Like an hour and a half.
Bill Clinton, when he was in office, he was able to get both parties together to cut reasonable government. Would you be for something like that, where if you had a consensus and a plan, and Congress doesn't?
So my way of thinking is America was never great. If we look back on it, there has always been slavery, prejudice, ignorance. But I do think that if we brought our modern views, our humanitarian views into it, and there was a way where both parties could respect each other, because I've seen the rallies and the political protests from back in the day, and there was a way for politicians to speak without bringing insults in, without bringing personal problems in, because it is personal now. Back then it was personal for the people being prejudiced against. If now we brought our humanitarian views and mixed it in with respect for each other, within the politics community, then it would be great. But I don't think that's going to happen
See,
because
now,
it gets
I was
personal.
told, oh, you guys wouldn't want that because a full-blown socialist. And, you know, there's no... Okay, fair enough. And
No, I'm not a
appreciate-
socialist. I don't put a label on what I am.
Fair enough. I appreciate that. And you're an American.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. And so, you know, that was the whole purpose of my little channel, was to get out and to get people different perspectives and, you know, just kind of let people from all sides get to see, you know, what this protest is about.
I think that both sides really do want to get their stories out, and whatever story they want to tell, that's on them.
Right. Yeah,
whatever people see on the internet.
We can peacefully agree to disagree too.
You can peacefully agree to disagree, but
That's
I don't
right.
think that anyone should peacefully agree to disagree over human
Certain
rights.
things. There are certain...
There are
I
certain things
understand.
where I can definitely get along with them.
Like, you know, we're not going to, like,
I work with Trump
be like,
supporters.
you know, like, oh, Nazis are great. Like, that's just,
Yeah,
you know, they're
no.
just certain, or the Holocaust.
I work with Trump supporters. I work with some that stand by their decision. I work with some that don't stand by their decision. And, you know, both sides...
So the people that you work with that are
Yeah.
Trump supporters, how do you get along with them on a daily basis?
I have never had a
Good
single issue
conversation.
with them.
So
Never
do-
once.
So don't you think... Okay, so now that goes to the next thing. That,
because I work
most
to
people
work.
get along in real life. In real life. You know, not in, you know, unfortunately,
not on this.
sometimes.
Not on this. Like, if you look on the TikTok community, none of them
Right.
can get
but
along.
if you watch the media, you know, they pin a lot of people
Yeah.
against each other too,
They-
fueling the fire because it's profit by division.
Yeah. And obviously there's a lot more hate on the internet, and I work with majority Trump supporters. Most of them are older people who have not been educated on what human rights were, and they have admitted that to me. They have admitted that to me. I work with an 80-year-old. I won't say her name because it's very
fair
personal
enough.
to her.
Fair enough.
But she never really knew what the human rights movement was. She was never taught about civil rights. She was born in Texas.
How old is she?
80 now. Never learned about what the civil rights movement was.
So, you know.
And she's a Trump supporter. And you know what? I don't fault her for that.
Did you try to explain to her what the civil rights movement was? Or
She was willing to hear me out. She was willing to hear me out, but then she stood behind her decision and said that was the way she was raised. And you know what? When you've spent 80 years believing in something, I'm not trying to change your heart.
It's hard. Hey, you know what? You got to give your perspective peacefully.
Yeah.
You took it peacefully, so, you know.
Exactly.
You do what you can do.
It was worth it. It was worth it. And I still don't have a problem with her. I still don't have a problem with her. I don't have a problem with anybody who was raised a certain way for a reason. And you know, older people, I do give them a little bit of a pass because they didn't have what we have now. They didn't have this. They didn't have the internet. They didn't get to see everyone's perspective on it.
Their education.
We don't punish the people that went to Jonestown for a reason. We can't really punish people who grew up in a racist town
I
and
just
didn't
heard
know
that,
anything.
that Jonestown, something happened over there with something with the government. They came up with $100 million or something to try and rebuild that.
I don't think I've heard about that. No,
Yeah,
but
I
that's
heard something
concerning.
about it.
That's concerning
But
because
it's not reparations. But
No.
to me, it looks like it's more corporate money. That what they're doing is they're making it look like, you know,
in the beginning it was a religious cult. It was a religious cult until the end. They all killed themselves to follow one man. They are killing their personalities to follow one man. They are killing their personalities to follow one man. It's the same principle. They have gotten rid of most of their shirts. I actually know somebody who got rid of all her shirts that didn't say Trump on them. And all she owns now are Trump shirts. She wears one under her shirt to work. And you know,
here's the thing. Let's say if I walked over there and did the same thing, would I be
no, not at all. Absolutely not. And if you went over there to get their story, I highly encourage you to do so because I want to see it.
I want
to see it. Oh, he comes back.
Yeah.
Young
What
man,
is
if the
this?
Lord put you on this to read these, may God bless y'all.
Oh, you're leaving over there? I was just going to walk over there and get that perspective. Do you need any water?
No, sir. I appreciate y'all.
I got you.
Thank you very much.
I got you, man. I got you.
May God bless you always,
You
sir.
too, man. Hey, you too. I appreciate. Listen, I appreciate you.
See one
And
of these silly
take.
little pamphlets? Just one.
Also, I heard you were doing a lot of talking. Did you want any water?
No, I'm good.
Oh, I'm good. Thank you, though.
I appreciate
have to
you.
go. I have to go to work later today, so I have to I can't hold on to so much stuff.
You need a water? You need a water? Well, I appreciate you.
Yeah, of course.
And
yeah.
it was very nice of you to offer the gentleman water.
I was saying.
What brought you down here?
What brought me down here? So I am here because I love humanity. You know. Yeah, you know.
And even though he was standing on the other side, you still offered him a water.
I'm a firm believer in something called the soup theory, which is everyone deserves their favorite bowl of soup. Which what that means is even if I
That's
do
kind of a libertarian perspective.
yeah, libertarian in a way of like in the bottom half of the political compass, but it does encompass left and right as well. But I do have this the very firm belief as someone who is very left wing that everyone deserves the same their favorite bowl of soup. Yeah, they all deserve to have free health care. They all deserve to be taken care of. We all deserve to have the equal rights. I think what separates us from a lot of them over there is the fact that, you know, I'm over here because I love, and I'm here because I want to include everyone in their rights. And them over there, a lot of them want to exclude.
Do you believe government is supposed to protect your rights, not steal them away?
Yeah, I do believe that government, their job is to make sure that their citizens are protected. And that we all have equal rights. Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, looking at the current Democrat Party, do you feel that they're doing a good representation of defending what you're looking for?
That's a good question. So this is where I am technically a registered Democrat. I do not align myself fully with the Democratic Party. I am more left-leaning than Democrats.
Where are you with Bernie Sanders?
With Bernie Sanders, I'm very disappointed in him right now.
Oh, really?
I am disappointed in Bernie right now.
Talk about that.
I do think that Bernie Sanders. I mean, I will admit,
he's not socialist enough. What?
I am more left-leaning than Bernie Sanders.
Wow. What issue?
You know, pretty much. I know. Yeah, totally.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, with economics and also social standings, and personally, when it comes to Israel and Palestine, I'm also. That's also another thing I'm very passionate about. Not just because if you see right here, I do have the Palestinian flag, but also the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Sudanese flag.
Oh, that was very. You really thought your sign through.
I did.
Now, I'm told that you guys are. Somebody's paying to make these signs. Did anybody pay you to make this sign?
No, I made this today in like 1.5 hours with nothing but a decade-old set of Crayola markers.
I love it. So again, from my perspective, both parties have been bought up by corporate interests.
Oh, absolutely. Right? I believe that too.
And you probably, listening to that, you think AIPAC probably got to Bernie Sanders with Israel?
Yeah, I have not. I will admit when I have not done enough research on what politicians have been bought out by AIPAC. So I will not make an official statement about what politicians have been bought out by AIPAC or not, because I don't know. I don't know that.
Well, let me answer this. Yeah. Like those gentlemen over there that are on the other side, would you be willing to have a conversation with them?
I mean, honestly, I am willing to have a conversation. As long as it's civil, and as long as there's no threatening, I will have a conversation.
See, now, I was told...
Now, can I do that today? I don't know, because I do have work today.
No, but you're willing, that's the point.
I am willing, yes.
And see, I was told when I came down here, you guys are like going to throw rocks at me and all of this because, maybe we don't align 100% on everything. But, and I said, well, let me go down there, let me see because I don't know. And, my whole reasoning for starting my little social media news channel media site was to talk to different people and to get different perspectives and to hear all sides because let's face it, like you said earlier, CNN, Fox News, Newsmax, they've all been bought out by their corporate interests. And they're only giving you a part of the information. And it would be good to hear from all sides.
And I will say, and also another big thing with me is, yes, I want to have a conversation, but I am also not someone who tolerates intolerance. If that makes it's the paradox of tolerance, where a lot of people say, so that's the so-called tolerant left. but a lot of it is intolerance of intolerance.
So where do you? Okay, but
You're carrying it wrong still.
so like freedom of speech. So you'll still allow them to have?
Oh, absolutely. But I will say,
You don't want government to stop
freedom
it?
of speech does not mean freedom of consequence.
Oh yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Right.
So I mean, oh yeah.
You pay for it.
Oh yeah, like they're over there, and yes, I disagree with everything they're saying.
You support their
do I
right?
think they stand up for fascism? I do believe that.
Can you hold these?
But you know, at the same time, we see how few there are over there and how many are over here, and so I think we're on the right side here, because my politics is about love.